How are you?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Dude, not as good as you. Bones is fighting tomorrow. I'm going to be honest here, okay? I think we are at a stage of, I don't know how you feel. I think I could say, hey, I'm friends with Dana White. I think I could say that, right? Can I say that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm friends with Dana White, and I had no fucking idea that Bones Jones was fighting this weekend until like 4 days ago. Brother, I had no idea. 100% on me. This is a massive ordeal. This is a massive evening. And then obviously, it being against Stipe, who is legend in the fight game. How excited are you for tomorrow, and how do you think the fight goes? Obviously, Bones is a massive favorite in this thing.
Well, that's a big problem. We're not doing our job if the biggest guy in sports
Dana,
didn't know that the UFC was happening this weekend until 4 days ago. We have completely failed.
No,
but yeah,
my fault.
I'm excited. Well, the good part is that it's the second biggest gate of all time at MSG. So some people knew. Not the biggest guy in sports, but some people knew.
No, Dana, it's 100. I'm a dipshit, and there's been a lot going on, as you know. You've been in the middle of it all. Okay, you've been literally in the middle of it all on the night of it. So I think there's been football happening, and then obviously, congrats on a winning campaign. By the way, congrats on a winning campaign.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That whole thing's happening. So now that we have eyes on this, I mean, this is second biggest gate in Madison Square Garden history or whatever. But like, this fight is a dream fight, is it not? And I'm not like a UFC expert. I watch all of the fights and all the pay-per-views, but like, this is a dream fight for a lot of people. And how's the vibes going into it?
Yeah, this is a fight that needed to happen. Jones got hurt several months back. We got the fight back on track. This fight has to happen, and then whoever wins this fight, the big heavyweight fight that everybody wants to see is whoever wins this fight this Saturday versus Tom Aspinall, who is the interim heavyweight champion. And if you think about this, I've been saying this all week. Think about how hard it was for us to get into New York, right? Corrupt politician over here that was keeping us out of New York. Now, at Madison Square Garden, we're number 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9 all-time biggest gates in Madison Square Garden history.
Is that good? Is that good? I don't know. You tell me. Good for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, you draw a lot of people. Your fans are incredibly passionate. And if you get how many more? Okay, so Tommy was chanted yesterday, I think, at the press conference. You were asked about it. Place went crazy whenever you said, yes, the winner should fight Tommy in this entire thing. When you look at Bones and where he's at in his career, what is the thought of how many more? Have you had the discussion about that? Is there no end in sight? Like, what is the kind of thought with Bones, who's obviously GOAT in this entire profession?
Well, if you look at what he did to the number one guy in the division last time he fought, I mean, could he have 10 more fights, right? Tonight will tell. You never know in this business, or Saturday night will tell. You never know in this business when somebody shows up and, looks old in the fight business. We'll find out on Saturday night.
How do you feel about his training? What have you learned about where Bones is mentally and physically going into this fight?
He looks good. He looks like he's in great shape. The weigh-in's here in 2 hours, but he looks like he's in great shape right now. He weighed in light, and Stipe looks good too. I mean, we talk so much about Jon. It's almost like, everybody's overlooking Stipe, which is the position he loves to be in. He loves to be the underdog. Every time he goes into a heavyweight fight, he's the underdog, and he wins. So getting through Stipe is no easy. Exactly. Here he is beating Daniel Cormier, one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, double champ at one point. Stipe lives in Ohio now. Ohio guy AJ Hawk has a question for you.
Yeah, Dana, are you excited for some? You get more and more fans every single day. I feel like the UFC does, but are you excited for some people to get to watch both these guys fight that may have not seen them fight a bunch, especially in their prime, which they both still very well could be, but people are kind of sleeping on them, I feel like, because they just haven't seen him recently. And what do you think a fight like this could do for both these guys, and obviously Michael Chandler, Oliveira right before him? Like, there's a lot of big-time names who I think some people don't know a whole lot about.
Yeah, everybody knows about, Oliveira. He's a huge superstar for us. And Chandler, that guy's never in a boring fight. Neither one of them are. I mean, if you had to ask me, that's fight of the night already. We should probably already write their checks and give it to them now.
Hell yeah.
That's going to be fight of the night. But then the main event, you're not wrong about Stipe. Stipe's been out for a while. When he was active, people were sleeping on him, so they're really sleeping on him now. and you can't. I mean, first of all, sometimes when you look at the odds in this sport, I think the odds makers are crazy. Underdogs win here. They don't win in boxing, but they win here. And he is a very live dog on Saturday night.
We'll certainly talk about boxing at some point in this conversation today because of what's happening tonight. But let's talk about Michael Chandler a little bit. And you talked about him never being in a boring fight. He takes pride in that. You know, I've heard him obviously on podcasts. He's been with Busted with the Boys. He's been with everybody basically. And he says, like, I'm there to entertain. Like, I understand what's at stake. And he takes a lot of pride in being an entertaining fighter, which I think is why everybody was so jacked up being the guy to take on Conor McGregor coming back. And then obviously the weight. This fight gets dropped in. Him and Conor still on the line, are still potential or still going to happen at some point. But what was it like making the decision to give him another fight? Was he pushing for that? Were you pushing for that while the Conor thing was trying to come together? And how pumped are you to see him back in the cage after an extended hiatus?
Well, I always tell fighters, your window of opportunity is very short. You shouldn't wait for anybody ever. I understand waiting for Conor because it's such a big payday for a fighter, but no, you don't sit around and wait for anybody. And people love to watch him fight, him and Oliveira, because they fight like Arturo Gatti. Those guys go out and just leave it all in the octagon. People love those type of fighters. Oliveira and Chandler are literally exactly the same in the way that they fight. And I'm going to tell you right now, I bet you anything that's fight of the night.
Okay, and I assume it will be, and we should have gone to this. I'm telling you, Dana, we fucked this up. I fucked this up. I should have known that this was happening. I should have known this was happening. I am Arthur Jones, Bones' brother, played for the Colts, so I know that I'm like I was at his fight in Baltimore when he came out, did the Ray Lewis entrance. He's obviously electrifying, and he just toyed with a guy for 5 rounds, just having his time. And then I remember the entire run, obviously through experiencing it through his family with Arthur Jones, of he had a Nike deal. He was on I mean, he was
True.
The guy. The fact that he's back, we fucked this one up completely. We should be there. We will definitely not do that going forward. Connor has a question for you, Dana.
Yeah, Dana, obviously you just mentioned with Jon Jones, in this fight, the winner should fight Tom Aspinall. And then yesterday, I believe Jon Jones mentioned kind of the idea of fighting for fun after this fight. And, Pereira was thrown out there and kind of the idea of super fights going forward. Is that something you consider when it comes to what the fighter wants? And what did you think about what he said regarding all those future fights?
Well, of course, obviously a guy like Jon Jones has had a career that, if he wants something, we would do it. But you can't just want to do a fun fight and not fight the interim heavyweight champion, the guy who's next. Because if Jon Jones retired on Saturday, Tom Aspinall would be the heavyweight champion. So opportunities were given to Jon Jones. He was 23. He was the youngest heavyweight champion of all time. Now, as he sits where he sits, it's his obligation to give it to the younger guy, to give him that opportunity. And if he beats Tom Aspinall, then yes, I would do the Alex Pereira fight.